Yep. Hi.
Morning, good morning,
Morning.
and good morning to our viewers as well. Welcome to Coach SG's first Motivational Monday. Andrew, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and being the first speaker.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
opening sort of hello from you to the rest of the viewers.
Hey, everyone. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. Yeah. So, if I do drop off, my Zoom is crashing sometimes. So, if I do drop off, I'll come back in again. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. So perhaps I just like to share with everyone why we're doing this. And I think we all know that we are in a difficult and challenging situation at the moment. And for those of you from the in the NROC, you would have known that we have shared some survey for you to just join us and fill up so that we have a good sensing of how everyone is feeling, what are the challenges that they're facing, and of course, how we in Coach SG and Sport SG can help you overcome or to tide through this period or this situation a lot better. And the motivational Mondays came about really to as an attempt to lift the spirits of everyone at the start of the week so that it puts everybody on a positive note moving forward. And yeah, thanks again, Andrew, for doing this. Yeah, so uh, perhaps we could begin by Andrew, your sharing of the current situation of facing and how it has impacted yourself as a coach, and also your thoughts on how it impact others as well. Yeah, Andrew.
I think it is pretty tricky for me. I handle my two girls, so I have a 8-year-old as well as a 11-year-old girl that have to handle the home-based learning. So mornings are pretty tight in terms of homework and everything. Income definitely, I think, applies to all coaches because we physically need to do so-called coaching. It is really difficult to so-called suddenly have a drop on income. Not just saying our industry, but I'm sure other industries are also suffering, especially my other friends in the media industry, acting actresses, literally also have that same issue. And any people that goes along with the area literally have very big so-called drop in income or even loss of total income. So I think overall sentiment is everyone's in the same boat. Some industries are doing really well, especially the online industries. And I think the question today, when I was asked to do this talk, literally was how do we go online and how can we, help the fellow coaches to so-called move towards, doing coaching online. I think that will be one of the key areas that we will discuss today in more detail in a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that, Andrew. As I shared with you previously, I think what has become clearer to us in Coach SG and Sport SG is the fact that a lot of things are now moving onto the virtual space and the online space,
Mm-hmm.
and our coaches, or many of our coaches, do not necessarily have the knowledge and skills in the digital sort of area to be able to capitalize on this opportunity to continue engaging with their athletes' parents, with their other stakeholders as well. But I think it's important for us to stay connected during this period, and of course, upskill ourselves, pick up some new skills, particularly in the digital realm, so that we can continue to perhaps look for opportunities to train our athletes. I know on Saturday, my son who does gymnastics have got a workout with their coach on Zoom.
That's
So
good.
the ones who are quick to react have been kind of doing fairly well. It may not necessarily mean that they get salary from this, but it has given them an opportunity to continue the connection with their and continue to engage their athletes in some kind of workout, some form of exercise. And of course, later on, we'll be talking about what are some of the considerations in terms of safety that we need to think about when we're engaging our athletes, our players, our students on the online space. So let's begin with that. I know you have some things to share with us on if I am a coach with zero knowledge on what can I do, what do I do first, what to do. Could you share with us on what would those things be for someone who really has got no knowledge on how to engage in the online space?
I think online space is something that we all have to embrace. That's one. So having the right mindset in terms of learning a new skill, no matter how difficult it is, I think if you set your mind to it in terms of, okay, I have to do it because I have to do it. I mean, I get younger people saying to me, Andrew, hey, I'm really IT illiterate. Then I'm saying, so what? I'm older than you. Um, that doesn't mean it should stop you from learning something new. Yes, it will be difficult. I think, um, you know, IT stuff can be difficult, and I think the key is if you work in a team or find someone who's good to work with, a younger person who's very familiar with social media marketing and all this, collaborate with that person, work with that person, form a team literally, as so-called the more experienced coaches who maybe are not so IT literate, work with these younger people to collaborate and, go online. And later I can share with you like things that you need, that you can do to go online. So I think key thing is for people who really have difficult time, connect with other coaches who are maybe literally more IT illiterate or even digital marketing literate, to actually combine your powers together as a team, because everyone has to work together during this difficult time and collaborate and create new stuff and create new content. Even for me, I'm collaborating with my other friends who do film directing, even creating films, and even actor actresses. Hey, is there any opportunity for coaches or even to do things like that? So I think the key is don't limit yourself to just coaching. Think a bit out of the box and literally work with other people in even various industries to come up with something that can really add value to the people and the masses and to really help. Yeah.
Interesting you mentioned that, Andrew, because yesterday I see Danny. Danny, you have joined us. Good morning, Danny. Danny Ong. Danny was there yesterday on the Swim Hacks live sort of episode one. And a shout out to people like Elson, Sumiko, and Jacqueline who put this together. And exactly to your point about collaborating, coming together as a team, leveraging on your network. And I think they've got someone who is good at designing, another who is good at music and sound. And I think they put together a really good episode yesterday. Would you say so, Danny, if I invite you to just say a couple of words about your experience yesterday?
Thank you, Azhar. Yes, indeed, it was really refreshing ideas, and I'm very glad to see that the community come together as one and doing such a platform for coaches to actually keep updated and keep learning from one another. Awesome! It's really a really great session yesterday. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Danny. Coming back to you, Andrew, you've got a couple of things that you want to share with us.
Yeah. I have some slides. A
So I'm
bit
gonna
formal.
yes,
Can
I'm
I?
gonna make you host in a while.
Okay. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Just thumbs up. Okay, so I have some slides that I prepared. So I'll just go through them just to share. I think to me, these are the most important thing in my life. So you don't have to believe everything I say, because everything that I say is based on my experience. And I think at the end of the day, just take it with a pinch of salt. Find what you think. If you can learn one or two things from today's session, I think that's already a golden nugget for each of you to implement. And at the end of the day, we are coaches. Let's collaborate and work together as a team, to bring things together and to get things moving. To be really honest with you, I'm actually more busy now that now we're at home than being outside coaching. Yes, I'm still having like for some reason, I don't know why, but I'm like, not enough time, to do a lot of things. I think also because it forces me to so-called, I think I wrote an article the other day. It was kind of funny. Immediately after writing that article on Facebook, Coach SG suddenly comment, "Hey Andrew, why don't you do this talk?" So I was like, "Wow!" And I think one of the lessons I want to share with everyone before I show my presentation was about, I think, 2008. That time, I actually started learning about the internet marketing and everything. And what one of my mentors actually shared with me, okay, Andrew, if you want to do this properly, imagine yourself on an island, no access to anything. You got maybe about 3 to 4 weeks of food, and the only way to get off the island was to actually make money online so that you can get out. And I was like saying, wow, this is exactly like what's happening now. If we do not make money online now, how are we going to feed ourselves? And literally, I believe that was like, wow, how many years ago saying that, and this is reality happening. I think a lot of coaches are also struggling to do that. So today, I just wanted to share that story because I think it really reflects today's situation. At the same time, hold on, let me admit someone in. At the same time, I share with you information that I feel it's very close to my heart. And my intention for today is really to help everyone with the knowledge that I've gained through reading, through learning from various mentors. And I think this will really help each other really well. So let me share the screen.
And I think let's allow the viewers to ask any question they like, so they can either put up their hands or they can type their question on the group chat, so we can have a look and address some of the concerns and questions as we go along. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, sounds good. Okay, can everyone see the screen? Okay.
Yep.
Nope.
Let me see. Can't see. Let me see. Is it sharing? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, better. Yes.
Okay. So these are my slides. I have a few stuff that I left to do. So a bit of, oops, let me get background. Yeah, so recently I just shared with everyone my vision for myself is I want to send a team of snowboarders to represent Singapore, hopefully in the Winter Olympics in 8 to 12 years' time. So that is my vision for myself. And that's one of the things that I think for some reason I'm the only one crazy enough to want to go and do it. So that is one of my dreams. And the other reason I've gone into athletics and gymnastics is simply because it's the fundamentals for all sports. Gymnastics, especially in trampoline, where we do the freestyle snowboarding and skiing. So those are the one areas. A bit of background why I became a coach. A friend of mine started urban ski in 2015. They knew I was crazy about snowboarding. So they asked me to, hey, why don't you go and get your, cert from Canada? I did my exam in Japan and then got my cert and then came back and started learning the ropes on how to coach. And that's where it got me really interested in coaching. And after that, every day I pursued that and I had the greatest opportunity where I got to do what I love, get paid at the same time, help the company digital marketing space to, be the first in Singapore. And that was really one of my best times. And, I've been an entrepreneur. I used to work in a bank. To cut the story short, I literally was an investment banker. Yes, was getting paid really well, but my work hours were like from talking about work until like 3 a.m., go to work at 8 a.m. So literally, I worked until I fainted on my desk. I actually went to the hospital within 2 years of working at the investment banking. And yes, I learned lack of exercise, stress level very high without any detoxing that had really got me out. So I realized life was more important than just the money. That's why I pursued things that I love to do. I did my degree in so-called Michigan, University of Michigan in US. So that was quite interesting because I chose that place because there was a lot of snow there. So I love the snow. I really connect with nature. So so that is just a basic background, and I'm really interested and passionate about learning more about sports, human physiology, and how it affects. So I do come from a science background a bit, simply because my dad was a doctor previously, so I did a bit of pre-med. So yes, so I like to integrate everything that I learned in my past to do that. So I think to me, anything that I do, um, it's very important to know why we're doing it. You know, what motivates you, what I think I'm very lucky because I know what I want to do. So I'm very driven in terms of what I want to achieve. And that's probably why I'm always very busy. Um, there's my wife, my two little girls, and you know, it took me a long time to reach on top of that mountain there. But to be able to confidently just go up there, hey, let's just drop down and just go down the mountain. I think that's like one of the coolest thing. And when you're up there, literally, um, you're really one with nature and you're totally present and you're just thinking forward, what do I do? And one of the most amazing thing is I apply what I learn on a mountain, even to my business and everything I do. If I reach a situation where I'm fearful, I just visualize myself in that position. I'm going to drop down. And what do I do to drop down? You know, so I usually do a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just go. Because our little voice, the voice, you're asking me what little voice, that little voice that keeps talking to you, hey, I cannot do this, hey, I cannot do that. That little voice is there to protect us, but it can also inhibit us from, you know, growing further. And I think that's where if you are aware of that little voice that keeps holding you back, you know, push yourself, push yourself, push yourself. And little by little, do you actually achieve what you want to do? Yeah.
I think that
So
resonates strongly with many other coaches here, really about, understanding or knowing what's your why. And I think, as you said, that small little voice that keeps, talking to us and keeps motivating us, particularly in difficult periods. Yeah.
yes, there's two voices, lah, the good side and the bad side.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone through difficult times. Worst time in my life was like probably 2 years back after like Urban Ski closed down. And, you know, your mind takes especially if it's a negative state and it takes a spiral, and it gets deeper and it gets deeper. And it was a very difficult time for me, but I think thankfully I came across the right people and the right knowledge that I came across that overcome it. So I'll definitely share that with you in a moment. And I think to me, that journey has made me very self-aware because we can worry, but worry doesn't pay the bills. Worry doesn't, you know, so-called um, pay for anything. It doesn't help you in any single way. There's no beneficial thing about worry. And that's why I said, if you know you're worrying and you're very aware that you are worrying, then stop worrying and just cut that off and just do something. And there are tools out there that can help you, you know, out there. I can mention a few names that I learned from later at the end, just to share with everyone. Key now is just go and learn, and you got the time, please go and learn, whether it's to read a book or to go for courses. I think there are a lot of information out there. So I'll share that with you in a second. Okay, so I believe from all the readings that I learned, there's 4 areas in our life that we must expand. And one is, of course, health set, which is the fitness. Mindset is your mental, you know, what you're doing. And my heart set, of course, your relationships with your family and friends and God. At the same soul set, you know, what is it that you're meant to do? And I think soul set is, of course, a spiritual set. Everything is interlinked with each other, and I think that's where we want to achieve, and that's where I'm focusing on in these 4 areas in our life. Yeah. So COVID-19 came, and I think the questions and skills that everyone's probably asking is, what do I need to do? And I would say, don't just think about this situation now, think of the longer term after that as well. You know, what are the skills you need to survive this pandemic, and at the same time for the life after? You know, I'm thinking long term, you know, what we need to do. and what I think are important. This situation has really said one thing. One stream of income definitely is not is definitely very dangerous. It's very unstable because suddenly everything's cut. What can you do? And I just read an article, the world's famous circle, is it? I forgot circle, the French circle. Yeah, and literally all their gigs are all cut off. Everyone's being retrenched, and it's really a situation that is very difficult, not just for us in Singapore, but for the whole world. And so I came down with this list, which I think is important, not just for now, but for later on. One is self-development. On the left side, you can see here, grow yourself by learning new things every day. Digital marketing, I think it's here to stay and here to continue. Definitely expand your coaching online and learn how to market it online. I think the keyword here is marketing online. Yeah, so it's something that as a self-employed, even as an entrepreneur, even as a business owner, you literally need to learn how to market, even do sales. How do you close the deal? So all these kind of skills relating to sales and marketing is important. It's how you communicate. And I treat it like communication skills, literally, because are you communicating with the audience online well and order? So I think this is our areas that you want to consider. Third is financial education. How do you manage your money? How do you create more passive income so that you can do things that you love to do? If your expenses are 2K a month, if I manage to make money through, ebooks or online courses or online, sell online so-called courses, and every month it generates maybe 2K a month to pay for expense, literally you're financially free. So this is, where you can use the extra time to create more stuff and, add more value to people's lives. So financial education is important. Easiest book to read is Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. He talks about passive income and all this. So I think those are one area that's important, not just for us, but for everyone and for the children. Fourth is leadership development. I think the key now is a perfect time to build your leadership skills in terms of finding a team that can complement you in skills and in your areas of strengths and areas of weaknesses. Maybe like you are really bad at the online stuff. So this is when, hey, let's collaborate with someone who is able to have that skill set and how to do that really well and collaborate and do this. So I think that's where leadership skills comes in. As who was it? John Maxwell, he was saying, one of the most famous leadership person. He literally said, if you want to be expert in leadership, you have to do about 1 hour every day for 5 years. That's a lot of time to learn leadership. And I make sure I try my best to at least do about half an hour every day, just learning and reading about leadership. And I think slowly it will become better and better. And things that I learned, yeah, definitely. So the last one, I think, is also another important factor: networking. Are you just networking with your friends? Are you networking with your competitors? There's nothing wrong networking with your competitors, and also giving back to charity in terms of the community and helping other people. The so-called social entrepreneurship. I think this is where this is a perfect time to do it. Like our track and field side, we're literally giving the Saturday sessions free as an engagement and during this difficult period. So I think that's very important in this difficult period now. Yeah.
Thanks, Andrew, for outlining that. I think very useful in terms of the sequence. I suppose everything starts with the self, and I like how you have put self-development as the first thing that coaches need to think about. Yeah. So if you talk about, if I just focus on the second part, which is digital marketing, perhaps you can share a little bit more about how can a coach, with very little or no knowledge, get started on this aspect of, expanding their coaching online or even starting coaching online, and then subsequently, obviously, to market them.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so coming to the next slide. Yeah, so talking about taking coaching online, literally, like I said, I was helping soon one of track and field Singapore, we literally, I took the lead and say, hey, let's just do an online, and if you can see on the top right, literally, so we got the kids engaged. The other coaches also came in, to act as to work as a team, to help all the kids, and you can see the kids all running there. Even their sisters and brothers were also joining in. Yeah, so I think that's the way to do it, and if you don't do it, someone else will. So just do it, and no one's caring whether it's a perfect session. I think the key is everyone's stuck at home, everyone's feeling like kind of enclosed, and our human nature is we're supposed to interact with other people, and use that chance to interact with your students, interact with your other coaches, work together as a team, and exercise together to get fit, or more like stay fit. And I think that's the important thing. I even so the bottom one is I'm actually attending my trampoline coaching with Singapore Trampoline Academy. And literally every Saturday, we just stay 1.5 hours, go through the content, like having a lesson, talk about the, gymnastic trampoline, literally how to spin off axis, everything. So I think it's really interesting, and we get to, interact. So I do that on basis. And morning, I actually have a workout every morning at 5:30 a.m. For this situation, I may actually change it to 6:30, because a lot of people complain 5:30 is too early. But there is a reason I'll share with you later. Why 5:30 a.m. is so important. Yeah, so I think going online, how we get online, there are a lot of different ways. Like the way we're doing it now with Zoom is one of the key areas. The other so-called online platform that I know is Google Meet. So Google Meet is one, then there's Microsoft Teams, another one. So those two are the major ones. If you're planning to present like a full so-called webinar, they call it, where there's presentation tools and everything, of course, those are paid services, requires a bit more expenses. But I don't think you need to do it. I think Zoom free is enough. Just keep it to 40 minutes. Or if you need to go longer, just pay for the so-called pro version. I believe it's about $15 US. Yeah. So I think going online is the key. Just do it. Even though you're uncomfortable, and you can just download the software and install it and pretend you are logging in yourself, just to practice or something like that. Of course, please don't be shy with a camera. Yeah. So in
I think
terms of,
that
yeah.
there's a question that has just come in on Facebook about as far as digital marketing is concerned. Are there any digital marketing course that they can sign up for, and something that you would recommend, Andrew?
I actually do conduct digital courses. I just want to warn everyone, give you some background. I learned the various digital marketing from search engine optimization. So I'll be throwing a bit more technical terms now. Search engine optimization means you optimize your website for the search engine. That itself was a 5-day course. So if you find courses online, I'm a bit skeptical of what courses are online, especially on Skills Futures. They tell you can learn it in 1 day. I'll be very, very skeptical on that, because I spent, I think, about $4,000 just on one of the courses, SEO, and it was a full 5-day, talking about like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. kind of thing, full 5-day, yeah, certification, everything. Then so if I add all my so-called online courses, I think spent about $10,000 to $15,000 previously, which is a lot of money, yeah. But the skills that I learned last me a lifetime. So I think it was definitely better than, to me, better than my degree, because I actually made money off the courses. And but I think how to evaluate, I can share with you more in maybe another session. So later I'll just tell you more what kind of courses. I think the two basic one that for coaches that needs to learn, one is Facebooking. That's one. You know, how do I Facebook marketing, social media marketing, literally, if you summarize it. And the other one, if you want to go a bit deeper for a lot of people who are more online, you know, you really build a website, a whole like a whole portal where you direct all traffic to your website to sell your courses, sell your membership or something like that. So those are the areas that I would say needs to evaluate, to consider what kind of model that do you want to follow. If it's a really simple, straight to follow, I would say Facebook, Instagram, that just, you know, Facebook page, everything market through the Facebook page. It's the free one. The question is, how do I market it? Yeah, so I would say, I hope that answers the questions.
Yeah, so would I be correct in saying that if a coach really has zero knowledge on what they can do, what to do, I suppose the first thing your advice would be to sign up as a sign up Facebook account. At
Yes,
least they can first get into the online space, and then
create a
from what I
page.
see,
Yeah.
that track and field sort of training session that you have, that is Zoom through Facebook as well. Is
Mhm.
that correct?
Yeah,
Or it's just
Zoom.
Zoom?
It's just Zoom. We didn't broadcast it live. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
for
I
the
suppose
members.
that will
Yeah.
be the other thing that coaches need to be familiar with or sign up for, and that will be a Zoom account so they can start engaging people online.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Facebook account, the so-called Facebook page or Facebook account is just for you to so-called put your brand up, your own personal coaching brand. As all coaches, we brand our name. Our names are very important. So, you know, like start a Facebook, you have your personal account, so that's your personal account, but you create a Facebook page that is separate for your own branding and coaching. Yeah. So in terms, so that you compartmentalize, you know, your coaching and your personal life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, what you can do is, there are things that you do in your personal life that you find is important for your coaching. You just share it with that, you know, separate coaching page that is for you. So I would say that would be the simplest to do. You know, ask if you have nephews or who are younger and more IT illiterate. You know, please just go and ask them on how to set that up. Yeah, I'm sure they are proficient in that.
Yeah, I think that's a good advice. Having because I know some people have asked me before in the past, how do I separate my social life and family life that I want to keep private versus that other professional side of me that will be outward facing and wanting to engage people. So I think your advice is a good one, where maintain that two different accounts.
Hmm.
One could be a close one that only family members can do, and then the other one would be that professional sort of account. Would that be
Yeah,
correct, Andrew?
definitely. Yes, that's correct. In fact, if like for me, I've got different caps that I have to put on. So literally, even consolidating all the various areas is really tricky. But literally, the easiest is personal page, which is just, you know, your usual Facebook / your name, that kind of thing, and you create individual pages for your different so-called entities. Whether, like for me, maybe there's track and field, there's gymnastics, there's snowboarding, there's skiing, there's skateboarding, there's, you know, all the other things. So I'll create separate pages, but that also means a lot of work because you've got so many pages too. So I would say keep it simple, just your personal page, and maybe a Facebook page dedicated just for what you're doing and what you're adding value to the community and the other people around you. So I think
Mm.
that will be the simplest advice that I can give. Yeah, and if you, the technicality of that, I think I'm sure you got, most coaches have friends and even the young ones that can help you, you know, put that thing up quite easily. Yeah, but please, as a word of advice, please go and take good photos, okay?
Yeah, agree. That's important.
Impression is very important. Yeah. You know, if you need professional photo, I got a lot of network and connection. So if you need help, but I think simplest, our phones are very good cameras. So just find a white background with sunlight coming in, you know, and just make sure you're not facing the sun lah. Yeah, and then after that, you take a picture, it's fine. Then the rest, just use your so-called photo app to edit and, you know, clear all the blemishes and everything. Yeah. So I would say that's my advice for, so-called going online, and I think it's the easiest to get started on that. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh, is there people?
Um,
Oh yeah, let me add them in. Okay, hold on. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so going online, I think it's important. So I'll just share with you something that I sort of summarized. It's still quite a lot. So this is basically what I said just now in terms of how do I go online, and I think it's relevant for all the coaches. One is website or Facebook page to build your brand. So in terms of what you should put online, Facebook has the option to have a shopping cart. So you could literally create your online courses, or in this case, even memberships. I think a good one is memberships. Um, in terms of pricing, because it's online, I would suggest very low pricing, but go for quantity. Yeah. So if you sell it at maybe $9, $10, it's not a lot of money per month, the kind of thing. But sell it at that price, maybe go for quantity, and you find that you can add a lot of value to it. Then you have a separate so-called what they call upsell in marketing, where you have more personalized coaching and all this. So I think that's one area that people can also call manage the cost, and or even membership. Like if you look at the US market, so-called, they are very good at online marketing. Their YouTube channels are by the millions. And the best courses out there, like the Ethylene X and all those, their programs sell at 80 US dollars. I signed up for one just to dive in deeper to have a look at the details. And they really provide a lot of value added content through videos, to even tracking your results and everything online. And you're only paying 80 US, which is about $100. And that's literally lifetime. So a lot of value is given for that 100 US dollars, but they make money through quantity. And once they do the video once, they put it in, the money just keeps coming in because they got the viewership and everything. But it took them, the key point is not a get rich quick, you know, it's building a business, a coaching business, where they build it slowly and slowly, steadily every day with the long-term goal of I want to reach a point where my coaching is automated online. All I need to do is focus on automating that, and then keep adding more content, value added content, and just focus on creating new content for the community in terms of coaching, in terms of what areas that people are looking for. I learn a lot from their models and also the physical exercise that they program. So I think one way of trying to figure out how things are done, look for a course that you find has a lot of viewership, pay money to learn, see how they are doing it, understand their model, and so-called duplicating it. So I think that's the higher purpose. So that's the website part or the Facebook page part. The other thing, coming to social media marketing, I think the key point is Facebook and Instagram are by the same owners. So literally, make sure you have a Facebook account and your Instagram account. A lot of times, Instagram auto post to Facebook. So usually I tell people who want to spend too much time on social media, if you got an image and one or two key sentences, put it on Instagram, automatically share it to Facebook automatically. So you only got one channel. I think quick and easy doing that. If you are a bit more adventurous and you really want to create content, please create a YouTube channel. Start with your own brand name lah, your coaching name, and slowly build your own reputation and brand online, and make sure you add good content to it. And I would say create content that the market wants, not create content what you think is good. Okay, create content that people want. So if let's say weight loss, like one video I want to do right now is, the people want to lose their belly fat. Correct. That's probably one of the key things, even for us coaches. How do we get rid of it? And one, as coaches, we all know the one underlying muscle that people always talk about is your abdominals, but they never talk about your obliques. And obliques are the muscles that hold the fat, hold everything in. So obliques are really so called under trained. Yeah. So
Suppose some people prefer to have the love handles there, Andrew.
yeah, I know,
Uh,
but yeah, I totally agree, lah. But I mean, for me, snowboarding, gymnastics, trampoline, I realize obliques are one of the muscles needed to really keep a strong core,
yeah,
to hold the core in place.
yeah,
And I
that's
think
right.
it's otherwise you
Yeah.
overstretch. Yeah. So I think, yeah. So create content that people want, not create content that what you think you want. So there's a clear difference between those two. So
If I
YouTube
could just
channel,
jump in here
yep.
to say that I hear some voices coming in. I hear some cat noises as well. Looks like we've got not just human friends coming in to join us, but pets as well. So just a note on to our listeners and our viewers, if you could just mute your mic so that we can hear Andrew clearly. But Andrew, if you could just go back to the digital marketing for coaches. I know you put it on in terms of bullet points.
Mhm.
If we were to sequence it in terms of what should be something that they should do first and second, third, what would that sequence look like in terms of what the coaches should get started on?
First is you need a place to market. So either a Facebook page or a website. That's one area. Number two is learning how to do social media marketing through Facebook and Instagram. That will be the next stage. Yeah. So how to do that? I have a few guides somewhere. I have to look for it. I can share it with everyone later on. Let me go and search for it. It's somewhere.
But we also have for those of you who've been plugged into the CoachSG Facebook, and you would have received some information through the NRC platform as well. We are
Mhm.
running some e-workshops in the next couple of days, and there will be one on how to set up such things, such platforms, so that you can start coaching online. So do look out for that.
Yeah.
It's conducted by our CoachSG folk.
Awesome. Okay. So once you're able, so moving on. So once you're able to set up your Facebook page, Instagram, or even your YouTube channel, the question is, how do we go live broadcasting? And like the way we are doing this so-called live broadcast right now, there is a few tricks. Actually, we can share. I'm sure Coach Ashley and the rest will be able to share. How to do live broadcasting with Facebook. And if you do a Google search on YouTube, you just say, "How do I do live broadcasting?" Um, you know, you'll be able to find a lot of guides out there to do it. So I'm just saying offhand, just search for the keyword. Just remember, Google is your best friend. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. Very important information. So number one search engine in the world is Google search. Okay. Number two, very important. Number two biggest search engine in the world is YouTube. Okay. So whatever you search on Google, people will also search on YouTube. So if your exposure to YouTube is there is a high chance that people will come and watch you, not just locally but internationally. That's one of the reasons why I like to mention YouTube. In Singapore context, people Facebook a lot from a social media point. But in terms of YouTubing, not many people are doing it. I think a lot of you know Jian Hao. I know one of our local celebrities on YouTube channel. He creates a lot of content online. So he sets a perfect example of a YouTuber. So he makes his money off YouTube. Because he got millions of views, usually it's about 0.1% or 1% of the viewership. That's how much income he generates. So to really make money as a YouTuber, you need quite a lot of viewership. Yeah. But to get a lot of viewership, again, you need to have value add. You need to be funny. You need to be able to sell yourself on the screen. Yeah. So I think that one takes time. that's something that you can work on if you are interested in pursuing that route. But it just takes time. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Then I think doing online coaching would be the next step for your courses, and basically creating content that value adds to the other people. So step one was create your Facebook page or your website. Prepare your website with courses or memberships, or even free courses. Use social media to market, to blast to your friends, to boost the post, spend a bit of money boosting the post and everything, and eventually move towards a live broadcasting event to add value to the community. And I think one other message I'm going to say is be consistent. Let's say every Tuesday 4 p.m. or every Thursday 4 p.m. or whichever time you decide to schedule it and stick to it. Be consistent. Then people remember, oh, it's Tuesday. Like the bubble tea discount on Tuesday. So everyone go and buy bubble tea on Tuesday because there's a discount. So it's like setting so-called habit
Becomes
and
a
trigger.
routine, yeah.
Yeah, comes a routine. So I think that's one of the ways to do it. Yeah, YouTubing is all about routine and scheduling. Like the way the big media does it. They fix time, got 9 p.m. news, that kind of thing. Yeah. So something like that, I think it's important. Yeah. Okay. Oop. So that's the so-called digital marketing point. To me, I think before executing all this, I think the more important thing is our mind. And this is why I wanted to share this, because it got me out of my difficult times. At the same time, it helped me get the energy and the positivity in life. That's why I'm always trying my best to be full of energy. I'm always very excited, and people think I got crazy energy sometimes. So one of the things that has connected really with me is I've done my research. I read, why is it that people wake up so early in the morning? Talking about Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, he wakes up at 4:45 a.m. I realized one thing is that across all the books, Steve Jobs, everyone, they wake up early is because they want to find their personal time. And when you feel good about your personal self, you accomplish a lot because of your personal time, not disturbed by your family, not disturbed by distractions, email, WhatsApp, everything. You have your own personal time in the morning. You feel fulfilled, and because you feel fulfilled, the rest of the day is very, very good most of the time. That's why I was very aware of myself. And again, sleeping early also complements it, because if you don't sleep early, you'll be tired. Then in the morning you feel groggy, and the rest of the day as well, right? And I'm sure all the coaches have gone for late night drinking before. Next day cannot wake up, hangover, you feel bad. So I think it's human nature to do that. But I think being on top of your game is very important, especially this during difficult time. And I just share with you something that I created, which I'm calling it part of the tribal club. Tribal meaning community and family orientated. So this is my 10 steps that I came up with for myself. So when I wake up, I'm not allowed to press snooze. I have to jump out of bed within 5 seconds. So that little voice is already talking to me, please go to sleep. But I have a tool which is by Mel Robbins, one of the motivational speakers. She call it the 5-second rule. So if you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, you jump out of bed. Physically, you must take action. Literally helps reprogram that little voice from being on the negative side. So because you moved, it will just shut up. So that's one of the ways I use it for any decision that I make too, if I'm hesitating. Second one, make your bed, simply because when you come back home from a busy day and you see a nice bed like a hotel, you also feel very energized. So making your bed is your first accomplishment. I remember there was one general that put the video and said why making your bed is so important. One of the US generals, I remember he said that. Number one, make your bed. Brush teeth with the opposite hand, because your master hand you don't think, your left hand you have to, opposite hand you have to think. So that's starts stimulating your brain. Exercise routine, according to the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharman, the first 20 minutes of exercise in the morning is the most important because cortisol level in your bloodstream, your fear hormones are at the highest in the morning. So to get rid of that, you need to get your adrenaline up so that your dopamine gets up. So physiological and chemically, the exercise to get your heartbeat going really pumps things up. Then go into meditation after that because you're to cool down. Then I would say cold showers also because not everyone does it, but cold showers, you know, like army, they shock your body, shock your body with cold. And I can't remember where I read, but according to a study that I read on one of the books, it says it increases your theta brain waves, which helps in creativity and problem solving. So very interesting topic. But I didn't dive deeper into that. Next is, of course, eat a healthy breakfast, whether it's a smoothie from fruits and everything. And third, the so-called 871 is journaling and gratitude. So gratitude forces your brain to so-called think in a positive way and things you are grateful for in life. I think, you know, that has really changed things around because when you start thinking of gratitude every day and you actually write it down what you're grateful for, life tends to be better. Yeah, because you program it and you do it every day. If you can do it like over 60 days, 90 days, it becomes a new habit and it's really awesome. I'm teaching some kids, not in Singapore, but in Hong Kong. They wake up every morning with me to do this morning routine. And I've seen them change because of the exercises that I do on top of this so-called mental gratitude thing. They are so positive and they are so energized. And I think for kids that can implement this, if every kid in Singapore can implement this, I think, wow, we're going to have very powerful kids. Yeah. So after that, once you sort of settle things down, you do personal development. So 20 minutes, 1 hour, I leave it up to you all. Go and read a book. According to Jim Quick, a memory guru, if you read 45 minutes a day, you can finish one book in 1 week. Literally. So that's 52 books in a year. So the amount of knowledge you can gain from reading 52 books, it's a lot. Yeah. And if you want to write a book, there's a saying, if you write 200 words a day, every day for 6 weeks, you literally can complete a book. So it can be done. So key is break it down into small parts and doing it. And of course, planning for your day always helps. So those are what I call my 10 steps. You know, if you're interested in joining me in early morning, for this period, I decided to change it to 6:30 since everyone is staying in a bit more. You don't have to wake up so early.
This is a really wonderful sharing, Andrew. I do some of them, but I must say I will be trying brushing teeth with opposite hand and the other stuff as well. I think this are good sharing. I also know that you have some other things that you want to share about the 4 steps.
Yeah.
Maybe you can
Yeah.
just
Quickly
quickly
just go
share on
through.
that one.
Yeah. Okay. So so if you've done the morning routine, you know, that's great. It sets your mind up. I think the key word is cognitive optimization. So you optimize your brain to enter a state where you are very creative and very good at problem solving. I find for me that's the best time in the morning. I solve a lot of my problems in the morning because I reach this state where I'm very creative and you know, where I can solve a lot of our problems and I get things done faster simply because you had a good sleep and you already stored up your energy. So this is the second part, which I think has really helped me get out of very difficult situation. One, number two, it's also the, how you want to say, the keyword was how does life works. So this was one of the things I discovered through the Diamond Carter Institute, where they talk about, you know, how do you get things in your life that you wanted to do, and it's always about helping someone, and it's not so much about yourself, but it's still relating to yourself. So they call this the 4 steps. And step one, if every one of you are able to do this, you won't see the results straight away. But basically is figure out what is it you want and why you want it. I'll give an example in a moment. Let's say you would like to have more money. That's one way. That's the easiest answer question that everyone's. So if you want to get more money, how do I do that? This
Wow, I cannot foster. I say a bit of fear.
Mostly.
Sorry.
I think we don't.
Yeah, I crashed there for a second.
Yeah, we've got.
Okay. Yeah, so coming back again, so find a person or business that has the same goal. And the most interesting thing I learned about here is even if you can help your competitor, like literally help your competitor, that's the most powerful way of getting things done. Yeah, it defies all logic, but yeah, that's what is suggested. And third is you go all out to help that person, your 150% to help that person achieve the same goal. And the fourth step, which I think is the most important, is every evening at the end of the day, you meditate over what you've done to help that person, and you also meditate over the success of that person, for that day. And repeating this cycle every day, just focus on one thing has helped achieve a lot of things. And you'll be, I was very surprised when I started this. And what happened was I tried it. Hey, it's like, oh, it works. Let's try a bigger why and one. How do I, how do I meet people that can help me with my one and why? And slowly, bit by bit, things started to happen. And to give you a quick example, there was a time about 1 year ago, one of my friends, we wanted to so-called start a video interviews, not called interviews with some of our friends and entrepreneurs. And what happened is, hey, let's interview someone. We wrote our so-called vision and mission on why we wanted to do it. And next day, we sort of planted the seed of I'm wanting this. Okay, who can I help? So I called my friend. Hey, let me interview you. And because of that, we helped that person publicize more about his business and herself. Literally, suddenly more people started to coming in. So I think literally that was an amazing part, and that's the power of the 4 steps. So if you really want something, find someone, that you can help with the same goal, go all out to do it, meditate over it. And, there's a saying goes, what you think, what you feel, what your body experience is a reflection of what your reality becomes. And I think this is a perfect way of doing it. And what happens is you don't think of what you will get because things will come to your way in other forms. Like if I want something from you is a so-called direct connection. But I give with the intention of giving my best to that. Somehow the universe or God will, give back to you in different ways. All the opportunities that I had to talk and communicate, I believe it's because of the good intention of seeds that I've been planting, and therefore a lot of things come back to me, and that's why I feel happy, I feel gratitude and all this. So I think you want to be in this state where you're always giving, and charity and all this is very, very important. I would say
that's an excellent point, Andrew. I think many of us here resonate with that. Is particularly during this difficult period. I think many of us, or I've seen many coaches step out of their way to help others without looking for anything in return. Yeah. What would be the next steps, Andrew? I know you've got some.
Yeah, I think
key next step action.
Just quickly finish. So key next step action. I think that's how to achieve greatness. Literally, 1 is optimize your brain with daily good habits. 2, surround yourself with a team that supports you. 3, and definitely stay away from negative people or even news. I don't read the news that much. I only go and look for the news if I'm looking for something, because news is usually report negative stuff. Um, Three, create a habit of learning something new every day, and most importantly, be consistent about it. Whatever you decided to do, do it with a good intention. I think anything that we do, setting a good intention first before restarting is very, very important, so that the message across is very clear. Similarly, like today, I wanted to set the intention for everyone at the beginning of the session. Take the extra effort. Yeah, it's in a way helps you focus on your objective. Yeah. So of course, to end it, meditate and over your success. I think that's one of the key points. Yeah. Lastly, which I find will be everyone's challenge, not just myself. Commit to repeating this pattern or this routine for at least 66 to 90 days. So according to Robin Sharman, a habit takes about 66 days. I don't know why 66, but yeah, I also learned from another mentor, 90 days is another one. If you can survive so-called 3 months every day, it become part of you. Yeah, even my morning routine, beginning, wow, it was a real struggle. I tell you, the first month, okay, but second month is like, wow, dreading it. But after a while, like, hey, the body gets used to it. Even jumping to a cold shower, once you jump to cold shower, oh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you jump in. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, share with you, cold shower. It's when you go Japan. A lot of you will eventually go Japan. Go for the onsen in the snow. I tell you, that's like, you're talking about -10, -20 temperature outside. Then you jump into the hot water. It's 42 degrees. So literally like a 50-degree temperature change. And when you do that 3 or 4 times, you are totally energized for the whole day. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose you don't need coffee after that, yeah?
You don't need. You just need carbohydrates to last the cold.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
especially on the mountain, when I go on my snow and snowboard trips and everything, I'm always the first to wake up and last to sleep. Yeah, because it's so energized. You want to maximize your holiday and your
Yeah,
training
that's right.
period. Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I
Andrew,
think. Yep. Go
yeah,
ahead.
sorry, you want to say something? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think those are the key success that you can so-called go. I've listed on this page. If you guys got time, I can either send it or you can just take a screenshot. These are the key people that if you want to study and improve yourself on terms of self-development, that 1 hour period of self-studying, these are the people I follow, especially Tom Bilu, the second one, Impact Theory. He interviews a lot of successful people and very interesting topics. Yeah, I in fact watch him when I go to the gym in the morning. I just put on the YouTube and just watch him and listen to him rather than listen to music or anything. And so I'm actually so-called studying at the same time as working out. So he has very good interviews and a lot of it. Mel Robbins is the one that I told you that came out with a 5-second rule, and I applied it immediately. It can be applied immediately. The funniest video I can share with everyone is called, do a Google search. When you search for Mel Robbins, motivation is garbage. That's the topic of the title. Yeah. So that's one of his topic, and a very interesting topic, got me interested in it, and that's one of it. So morning routine, a lot of it comes from Robin Sharman, Geisha Michael, the 4 steps on that. So if you need to find me, that's my Facebook page, and it's a QR code with a mailing list. If you want to get updated on anything that I'm doing. Yeah. So I think that's.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Andrew. I think you've given us a lot of ideas, a lot of things to reflect on, me included. I think, and that's precisely why we have decided to kickstart this particular Motivational Mondays. And I think this is something that we hope to continue even beyond COVID. I think this has been useful, and you've shown us how useful these sessions can be. And I think many of us will benefit from it. If I would think that you'll be kind enough to share this deck of slides with the rest
Yep,
who
sure.
have been logged on, and also others as well. For the viewers, we have this session on live on Facebook, and I think you can refer to it if you miss certain parts. Perhaps I just ask if anybody would like to ask at this point in time anything urgent that you want to ask Andrew at this point in time. I know Ethan had earlier asked on Facebook, you know, those two voices that you're hearing in your head, how do you manage them, particularly when they are in a fight, in an argument, in conflict with one another?
Okay.
Particularly the negative voice, yeah.
So if you think of your, okay, this hypothetically, there's no clear science for this, but then we are humans, so that it's not so much about science. There's the little voice is usually, one, it protects you. Number two, it's also your, is it the left brain or the right brain? The logic brain, okay? And it's trying to evaluate what is good, what is not good based on its past experience. So that's that little voice that's talking to you. So that's the brain part. I would say thinking with your mind. There's also the gut feeling. You know, I think coaches are, because we do sports and those who competed understand what it means to go by your gut feel. That's your heart speaking. And this is where it's always a lot of the, you know, gurus, the self-development, self-help area, the gurus always say, follow your heart, you know, and I would say the way to follow your heart is using Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule. Please go and watch that video if you have a chance. And she says, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, follow the decision that your heart is making. Is it the right thing to do? Yeah. And I think for me, what has worked really well is, what is that intention? Can I give you an example? So the other day, like, my wife was having a conflict with one of her clients. Like, one of the clients' partner was saying, hey, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this, you know. Then she didn't feel good about it, and literally, because her gut feel was, I think I should just get out, you know, get rid. I don't want this kind of client. You know, I don't want this kind of client. I should just get rid. But I said, but in her heart, she still wanted to add value to the client because she was adding value to that client. It's just that her other partner was making a lot of noise, expecting a lot, you know, sort of squeezing her for every single bit of information. So I told her that, follow your heart. This is what you want. How do I approach it? And I told her, why don't you just talk to the boss or the main partner and say, you know, hey, tell your intention. Because she said, I told her to say, go ahead and tell her that, hey, I'm not very comfortable with your partner keep hounding me every single second on doing it. You know, and so she opened up and said that to a client with the good intention that, yes, I still want to continue helping you. And after that, wow, I tell you, sweet. Her relationship with that one, wow, sweet. You know? So I think you never know. And I think open communication, following your heart, is very, very important. Even you have miscommunication. A lot of times, a lot of problems, even working in an organization, you know, rather than go straight to the point and, you know, solving the issue, they go, okay, let me complain to your boss, or let me complain to your organization. So a lot of times, then even the coach also may not feel good, or, you know, the person you're working for is not feeling good about it, because sort of like you got backstabbed in a way. So I think, you know, choosing your heart, use the 5-second rule, what you feel right. That takes time. I won't say you understand it, get away, but the more you practice that, the easier it becomes. And to answer that, your question, coming back to that question you asked, how do I choose between? Please go and watch that video by Mel Robbins about the 5-second rule. Yeah.
All right, Andrew, thanks for that sharing. Really wonderful, and the illustration as well. That leads me, therefore, to thank you very much once again, Andrew, for accepting our invite to come on the Motivational Monday. It's been really enriching morning, certainly for me, and I'm sure I speak for the rest, to understand, number one, about changing that mindset, adopting a growth mindset, and the practical one in terms of what this COVID situation has given us, really an opportunity to learn and pick up new skills as a form of self-development. And you're sharing about digital marketing, financial education, leadership development, networking, and charity. I think those are good stuff as well. And thank you also for your willingness to share this resource or these slides that you come up with. I think it will certainly benefit those who were taking notes but couldn't take everything, and also those who could not join us. They could still make reference to this. So thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you, viewers, for listening in and watching us here live. We will, as I said earlier, be rolling out a series of e-workshops. Monday, we start with Motivational Monday. Look out for those things. A lot of all this information are on our Facebook page. We do now have a YouTube channel as well, CoachSG Official. And you will seen the Word Up Challenge as a first round of activities that we have. And really the intention is for you to have access to resources that are safe, that are credible, for your athletes to engage in. We'll be rolling out more in the next coming weeks. So make use of that. Start today in terms of even if it's just to set up a Facebook account, do that today and you'll be on your way to developing yourself and marketing yourself.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Can I just add one more thing?
Sure, Andrew.
So the slides that you saw me, you don't have to do it on PowerPoint. I think this is a very useful tool. I sent it to the chat group, canva.com, canva.com. Use it. I stopped using PowerPoint. I only use PowerPoint for presentation. So all my presentation slides, posters, everything, I created on canva.com. So it's like predefined templates, and it really cuts down your time. After that, I just download it as a PDF or a PowerPoint. Yeah, so I don't have to think about choosing the fonts. I don't have to think about the, you still can choose your images and everything. So I think that's a very useful tool. Whatever you're doing to market your branding and everything, choose something that connects with you. Whether it's a poster on Facebook or everything, just use that as a tool to so-called market yourself, with some professional looking so-called designs and PowerPoint slides.
Yeah. Thanks, Andrew. That's another wonderful advice from you. So we've come to the end of the session.